Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Well, kind of an interesting setup today. Let's go over to the charts. So here in the bonds, we can see that there was a pretty significant move up. And now they're coming back. We didn't really get in there. There's a point of control at 12.5. I think I want to watch that. Actually. Okay. Anyways. Over here in the E-mini. Yeah, you know. A little move down. Mostly flat, though. It seems like that the Treasuries reacted to it a lot more strongly. So I don't know. There could be some mean reversion today, but we could remember that we're just in a slow week, and so no reason to necessarily get overly excited about anything. Now that said, since we just had the open here, while I've been talking, we are up. And, you know, we're above the opening range high and low and all of those sorts of things too. So I think the bias is up, but I go and I look at like the news and everything like that. Let's take another look, but I don't necessarily see a reason for them to have moved as much as they did. Let's see here. Is there anything on CNBC that I missed? Home Depot misses on sales, cuts outlook on worries tariffs could hit consumer spending. Yeah. Okay. And I can see, Null Monkey says, look at yen pairs. Well, we are moving, we did move up a little bit, and that moved the treasuries up. So I guess he's saying that it's just currency correlation mostly. Perhaps. But I would suspect that that was related to some piece of news. I don't know. Anyways, I've been doing really poor on like getting fed. So I have a few more bites left of my sandwich here. So let me mute myself and you can watch me stuff my face. I don't know if this is going to move anywhere or what. We'll see. So, it's actually giving me a signal here. They did just tick up though. I'm a little suspicious of it. One, because it kind of happened out of nowhere. Like when you look at all of the other activity right now, activity level is extremely low in the 10-year. And then there's, everybody puts in orders at 21. That to me is not indicative of a reversal, especially since we're moving up. We could move up 2 ticks, and if I start to see some iceberging, then maybe we can consider taking a trade. But I'm a little concerned about that one, to be honest. Dojo says, "Good morning, Seth, from the subway. Miracles of mobile broadband." Oh yes, that's great. Well, thank you very much for listening on the go. I don't think that I could sacrifice the data to listen to myself on the go. Well, let's move this down a little bit. There we go. See, the signal was there. So at 12. It's gotten 2 past it. So I ask, now that it's gone 2, do you want to take it for a reversal? Now, why they would be moving there like that is also another question, because I really don't see a reason for them to do it. Man, my back is messed up. Okay, I think I fixed it. I'm being awfully finicky today, aren't I? No. I think I've been feeling a little, let's say, weaker, because been having some gastrointestinal inflammation flare-up problems. So maybe I'm a little more, I don't know. Iceberg there at 22. So this is one that is kind of a little iffy for me, because so many times when I've seen iceberg in that location, they're able to bury them and then reverse on them. Happens a lot. Like reloading like that can be a sign of strength in a strongly trending market. But we have a market that is not really trending at all. I am seeing some pulling here on the bid, which might actually be a sign that they're going to continue. But I mean, action like that could be reloading, could push it further, but it's at 22. It's not at 23. And we don't have the momentum. Good morning, Speculator Seth. Good morning, Dojo on the subway. Hello, Algo Lover and Restream Bot. Yes. Well, you got IQ and Alligator on the Discord that you should see through StreamBot. I don't know. I mean, this kind of does have the makings of a new high. That pulling there is really weird. There wasn't news, right? Did I miss something? Tuesday. Manufacturing sales in Canada? I don't know. That's kind of weird. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, where is your newsfeed coming from? I haven't seen the Australian bond news on any sites. I just put it in a text file. And that piece of news we got from I think Zero Hedge yesterday. Probably we should remove it now, right? So let's go in. Let's add this Home Depot Mrs. Sells. That seems to be relevant to today. Delete that and there you go. Wall Street regulators are set to roll out a Volcker rule overhaul that's meant to respond to banker complaints about the trading ban's complexity and compliance demands. Yes. I tell you what, the Volcker rule, I remember now it's been, how long has it been? I think it's been almost 4 years now since I left Goldman Sachs. And we were looking at some of the things that we had to do to implement the Volcker rule. It was quite ridiculous. So I was not surprised and quite pleased when I found out that they were going to adjust things. But now the question is, what is the adjustment going to be? I personally still think that the Volcker rule is stupid. I don't think that the Volcker rule is a good thing for anybody. Well, one of the things that was annoying about it is that it's like you had to report like literally every
block by.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. I hit it. Block by. Anyways, you had to like report every trade, and then they were supposed to look through your trades and make sure that there was nothing. What is the word? Proprietary. That they weren't doing it for to make money. That they were only doing it to execute orders for clients. Is just the whole thing is just ridiculous. Mm-mm. And then that goes back into the whole, what is it? What was the name of the help me out here, guys, you know what I'm talking about. What was the name of the old rule that everybody wants that says, oh, we should have brought it back? It's because of Bill Clinton or George Bush or whoever it was that got rid of this thing is the reason why we had these problems. No, wrong. Glass-Steagall, that's what it was. Glass-Steagall just came to me. Yeah, no. It's totally stupid. Because the Glass-Steagall basically says, hey, Gabriel, how's it going? Glass-Steagall basically says you cannot mix customer and proprietary money, essentially. Well, all of the companies that we're talking about, like for instance Lehman Brothers, the biggest one that went down, right? They're a corporate bank. They don't have regular everyday customers. So that rule never applied to them anyways. And now that we've gone in this post 2008 era, they basically forced all of the banks to become bank holding companies. For instance, Goldman Sachs is now a bank holding company. They were not. We made. I don't say we, 'cause I don't work for them anymore. But they made that decision. I started there in 2010. They made that decision because the regulators basically forced them into it. The regulators wanted them to become a bank holding company because they felt that one big bank there was easier for the regulators to handle. There's a lot of reloading at 23.5. Are they going to bust it at 24? The thing is, there was a reasonable amount of momentum going up into it, but this might fail. So I just don't see a reason for them to be moving up still. And it's giving me repeated sell signals, actually. I really don't like fighting that kind of momentum though, and especially, why did it go pull up that data series window? Especially with the way that the bid is reloading, is stacking up like that at 23. I don't think I want to fight that. But it is telling me maybe a reversal. Well, I guess I shouldn't call it a reversal. It's a point, right? That might be a continuation. If it was a continuation, where do we think we would be looking at? Well, there's 30 up above us. Do we see any? Let's reset this. Okay, there is something at 30. Interesting. Do I see anything on the Vista chart? Oh, the Vista chart looks pretty disorganized. Except for that there's a lot of bubbles. Bitcoin's kind of showing me a head and shoulders pattern of some sort that anytime I see one of those in cryptocurrencies, I think you want to be cautious because they sure like to show that it's a head and shoulders and then, whoops, just kidding. Okay, uptick kind of. Barron, since the Justice Department unsealed charges against 2 former Goldman Sachs employees, Goldman Sachs and its post-2016 Trump bump has entirely evaporated. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the deal was with that. I vaguely remember it had something to do with a loan to a country or something like that. But that one was the dog needs to stop. We're gonna go take care of this. Hold on a second. Yes, it was Malaysia. And it was the thing that was interesting about that one. That's not watching us. How can we get in trouble? Up? I was not gone for very long. Sorry. Sometimes I think I should get a new webcam just so that I can get something that, sits on the monitor better. Anyways, yeah, it was the Malaysia. Yeah, it was the Malaysia thing. But I remember when that broke because I think we were here on stream when it happened that day. You could go back and look. And I remember being shocked that they were able to get away with that at the firm because they were doing things that were very clearly illegal and should have been caught. But they weren't. I just don't know. I don't know how they got away with it. But I also remember thinking that the market seemed to care a little bit too much about it. I think that when they fell, it had a lot more to do with the banking environment overall, with the spread flattening the way that it has been and everything like that. And then they added that on top of it. They took a much bigger hit than they should have. So, I mean, they were looking really nice back when they were up at like 250 or whatever. Mm-hmm. I have my camera covered, but it's still odd when you look up at me. Sorry. Mm-mm-mm. Luke is saying they really want to fight those 23 halves. I think, yeah. Well, there's probably a lot of people thinking like me right now. Like, okay, why? Because to me, it's like it looks like it should be a pretty quiet day, and then they move up like that. So there's two possibilities when that happens. One, there's a trend day in the making, and we're not aware of it yet. And B, it's all just a ruse to try and get us to buy in so that they can flip it on our heads quick. And what are the probabilities? Well, the probability that it's a trend day is maybe like 20%. So there's going to be a lot of people fighting it. But I have to say, with the way that it came up, I mean, it pushed through. Okay, so there was that one right there. There's that one right there. Now it's doing another one in right here. I mean, that's a lot of activity. And then when you look at the activity otherwise, look at how low it is. Only like 2,000 changes. Not even 2,000 changes. It's a very, very low. And there, the 30 years doing something kind of weird too. Like, there's also some, might be some steepening going on here too, because the 5-year did move up more than the 30-year. When you look at the knob spread speaking. Anyways, so it's like this kind of stuff is all very, very indicative to me of a continuation of a trend, but then it's a quiet day. Everything except for that it's a quiet day. And then that the activity otherwise has been very low. And so when it's in that kind of a situation, what are they going to do? They're going to make it seem like everybody's excited and that they want to get up there. And then all of a sudden, they'll go down a tick and everything flips and all of the people that are long are screwed. I can't tell you how many times I've been caught on that one. I've been tricked by it. Algo trading a strategy that virtually eliminates any chance for mere mortals to make money trading on a short-term basis. Oh, now I understand. I'll go over. Nah. You know what? I think that people overstate the algorithm thing. I really do. What does the algorithm prevent me from doing? The algorithm prevents me from going in and saying, okay, if they pull to like 500, I'm going to sell it here. And then I'll get a good spot in line at 23 half and get out with one tick. That's the trade. That's the trade that they're taking. They're taking the edge. A lot of people made money doing that, sure. But there's other ways to make money. You can play the whole swing. And of course, the algorithm is a dominant player in the market, but that doesn't mean that you can't make money. Although they are an awfully difficult opponent, for sure. I was reading this thing. Remember when we were talking about rock, paper, scissors? So I went out and I found a paper about rock, paper, scissors. And there's like a contest to write an algorithm for rock, paper, scissors. And then they put these algorithms up against each other and see who wins. And there was this one algorithm that had an 80% win rate against humans. Can you believe that? It had an 80% win rate against humans. That's crazy. And all it is rock, paper, scissors. Okay, there's another iceberg at 24 half. Are they going to push through this one as well? I have to say, there's been a lot of absorption through this location. Well, let's look at the level 2. As the level 2 become more clear? Well, there was some relatively large size at 25 that has since gotten a little bit less. Overall, though, it just looks like noise to me. There's probably something in there in it, but it looks like noise. We're also getting big spikes in activity in the 30 year. Okay, so that one they did tick up. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention today is the first day of school. I'm kind of hoping that doesn't mean that we have to go and take stupid pictures for Instagram, but it probably does mean that. Bum, bum, bum. Well, I wonder if they're going to take out this 30. Certainly there. Yeah, ZB said if sellers hold a bounce below 150, 165.19, oh, there's still a long way to go for your target, though. The thing I've been noticing lately, wow, your target's algo lover is they seem so far away. Is that just because we've had uh, such a big movers lately that now your strategy is still kind of adjusting it as things contract? You know, like if you're using some sort of an average base in there, then it might take a couple of days or weeks to normalize back down. Mm. Okay. See, I think that is giving me the golden signal in ZB. I quite like the way that I got filled right there, but that might go through me. Let's see. Pretty weak bid. But this isn't going down. This isn't going down. All three of them are doing that. That's kind of interesting. Okay. And they're all doing it all at the same time. They're all pretty synchronized today. Gave you that call yesterday morning, so where are we now? We're still below it, right? "50 years ago, I was 11 and would have left for school in my skirt because pants were not allowed, and I would have carried my monkey's lunchbox and walked to school." I wonder if they're going to walk this morning. I hope they do. My wife has been saying that she wants to walk. So I'm concerned. This is probably an irrational concern, and I really know nothing about this sort of thing, but I'm concerned about like becoming immobile in the third trimester. And I'm like, you gotta walk. The level 2 is playing games, but they're not able to hold an offer at 24. Malco says, right, so we monitor for a bid or offer up here and act accordingly. It's just I'm just saying I wish that your number was something more like 165.08 or something like that, you know? Something close. That's all I'm saying. No Monkey says, "You rock, dude." Well, thank you. Where did that come from? Oh no, I don't like that uptick. No Monkey says, "I'm having a good day." Oh, good. Oh wow, made 80 pips on Great British Pound versus the JPY. Wow. Well, congratulations. Oh yeah, where is Izzy? That's a good point. And we have seen Lucas this morning, right? Yeah, we've seen Lucas. I think Uzi's the only big. Well, there's a couple of other people that tend to come in later, but you're right. Where is Uzi? Maybe he's on vacation. Didn't tell us. Yeah, see, that's not what we want to see, folks. That's kind of like you might get it, but then they might try and push the high again first before they do it. So did you trade that on? Did you actually trade that on Forex, or did you use a future of some sort to get that trade? So the same thing that I liked at 24.5, it is now doing the other direction at 25. Oh no, Forex futures are all priced in dollars and you can't do any crosses. I gotcha. So the E-mini is pushing down a little bit. That might be why we ticked back up. And you see that? They hit it and then he bids it back up. Okay, so now that time they held a decent offer. It's doing it again right here. Well, so what I'm seeing is just a lot of shuffling, and it's a little confusing now. But the one thing that still stands out to me is how big it looks in the 30-year, and that makes me think that they might still be trying to reverse. I should be careful with that one though, because if we're getting some spreading, the knob spread is steepening, then they're going to sell the 30-year more. So seeing that in the 30-year, seeing a sell in the 30-year probably shouldn't matter as much to me, perhaps. I don't know. Hu Shishin says, "Will my account be suspended one day?" Question mark. No, probably not. It might be marked as a state propaganda outlet though, because it is. Oh man, because he's upset because yesterday Twitter said that we're not going to run advertisements for state media anymore because the Chinese were buying Twitter ads disparaging Hong Kong protesters. And they said, well, we can't allow states to use our advertising platform for propaganda, so they cut them off. And now who is trying to troll them? Is the rest of the world getting China wrong yet again? Well, I don't know about that. I think the thing is I think that pretty much everybody understands what's going on with China. It's just that nobody really knows what to do about it. Okay, that was a lot of selling there. And that bid stayed there the whole way. If we get a down tick, it could be really, really good. Is that a Bloomberg headline? I think we should put something in our news headlines about who, but I don't know what I should put. Okay, they take it. Okay. Flip and level 2. Okay. That's pretty good. I would have want that 24 to be a little bit more aggressive, but now it's going to be interesting what happens here with this 23. Okay, so they tick back up and he's putting 25 on it. I'm a little worried about that last tick because I think that he might be saying, no, I'm serious. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. I'm thinking, okay, so if I'm this guy and I want to buy it, for instance, and I'm trying to push it up, I would have let it come back more. I would have let it come back to here, and then I would have let them overextend down, and then I would have said, okay, no, we really are going to buy it, and then I would have had the momentum with me. As it is right now, he's fighting against the momentum. So maybe you do that if you really want to absorb a lot of contracts, but they didn't absorb a lot of contracts at 24. So I'm kind of questioning this guy's strategy right now, but I mean, it is holding 24. It's not an incredibly, yeah, so he did take it up. It's not an incredibly thick market or anything like that. So he maybe he can just, one guy can just hold it. Level 2 is still dancing. You can see 3,024. Is that really significant? Oh, okay. You can take 1 on that. Right, yep, -1. And just watch and see what he does. Oh, I didn't catch that ace went short. The equity market, we should pull that down. The equity market is kind of given that negative look this morning, isn't it? It looks unusually pessimistic. That's crazy that I only ever got one. I thought that I had a pretty good looking trade, but it only actually went 1 tick in my favor. Hmm. Imagine if you joined the ride. Well, if I joined the ride up from the open, then certainly it would have been a call, right? But I didn't get any kind of indication to tell me that it was going to be doing that. So, unfortunately, like there's this one right here. You take that as a continuation. Sure, you could have, but that one's not one that I would have seen. Please hit like for Speculators. That's channel you need more numbers to read on its displays. There you go. See, he's insistent. These trades got a point there. George Conway is crazy. So at first I wondered if George Conway, when he was saying, "Oh, Donald Trump is crazy," I was like, "Oh, so does he know some things about the inner workings of all this and what his wife is going through right now that maybe the rest of us should know?" Yeah, okay, those bids at 24 are going up to 4 now. Might have to take this long. They're probably waiting for me to go long so they can push it against me, but it sure seems like that this guy is serious. Anyways, I wondered if maybe they sure made it. The media sure made it seem like he had some inside story, but now when you look at his tweets and everything since then, it seems very clear to me that he doesn't, and that he's just reading the news like everybody else, and that his wife doesn't tell him anything. And to me, to continue to say the things that he does, this is just crazy. Why, I can't believe that he would do that without actually having a first-hand knowledge, And if he did have a first-hand knowledge, why isn't he just out with it, It does look like up, but it's being very churny here. In other words, I could buy here. Oh, wow. Wait, what? So that should not have filled like that. Okay, sure. Now I'm filled. And the question was going to be, do you get an iceberg there at 25? So far, no. Federal Reserve will conduct a floating rate offering on term deposits with an early withdrawal feature through its TDF. The Federal Reserve will offer 7-day deposits with a rate set equal to the sum of the interest rate paid on excess reserves plus a fixed spread of 1 basis point. Some believe they are hedging their bets and maybe the New York Times op-ed authors. I think it reads like he's genuinely outraged. Well, it does seem like he's genuinely outraged to me. But I'm just saying, your wife works in the administration. You would think that he would know things that the rest of us don't. And yet it's starting to become more and more clear that he doesn't. And I can't believe that you would say, oh, I disagree with my wife when you don't have the whole picture. And it seems to me that a person that is, doing that is not in their right mind. I'm just saying, if my wife came, was working for somebody and she said, no, that's not what's really going on, and all I have is what I read on the news, I'm going to believe my wife. He might overhear conversations, but I had a security clearance and knew what could be shared and knew what could be overheard. Well, and that's the thing, is it like he knows things and he's just not allowed to share them? But then if that was the case, then wouldn't you say that? I don't know. Well, it's looking incredibly balanced at 25. Well, they weren't able to hold the bid that time. I don't know. When it does that, so like, say you want to buy a bunch and you're okay with buying it at 25, buy 686 and then bid 250 and, make it a weak bid so that they try and sell it back down. And then just wait a little bit, buy some more, like you can accumulate that way. And then eventually somebody else will bid more than you and then you're done and it's going to go higher. But the E-mini continues to move down, and it seems to be the primary driver of this move up at this point. The E-mini could certainly, they're not below their opening range low yet. We should come over here and load the levels so that you can see that. Okay. Oh, there's a tick up as I'm doing that. Nobody's ticked in 26 though. If this keeps going though, that could get unnerving though, because you could start seeing a lot of stops. Yeah. Well, that was pretty decent stops right there. It hasn't really done this kind of action in a long time. I mean, we've had the crazy trend stuff, but kind of this slow churn up sort of a thing where you can really tell based on the inside way that it's ticking and when they stack and everything, that they're going to continue to move up a little bit. I haven't seen that in a long time. Okay, the 5-year ticked up there. Gonna get its sisters to do it. Yep, okay. 33.85. The way I look at it is if George is truly outraged in the way he demands integrity and stand, then, as a mom, my concern would be the children. I could not allow them to be on the wrong side of history. It's just, I mean, the thing that I always think is funny, like I think one of the things that you always got to keep in mind in the current political environment is the hyperbole. It's just like when I hear liberals say standing on the wrong side of history, they're always talking about like that he's going to go and commit a genocide or something like that, which is just absolutely ridiculous. There's like honestly nothing all that crazy. I mean, they've made mistakes. They certainly made a mistake on the immigration thing, didn't they? They really screwed that up. But it looks like with a couple of policy changes and things like that, it's looking like that border crisis is calming down, and that they may have actually solved that problem. Well, they didn't really solve that problem. It's Mexico's problem now, right? But other than that, the administration hasn't been able to really do a whole lot anyways. So it's like policy differences to me. And then everybody's like, oh, this is comparable to the Holocaust. I think people are ridiculous. There's nothing like that's happening. And yeah, so I don't think that the situation would really call for that kind of action. And especially, she knows a lot more about what's going on than he does. And he is the one that's pushing the issue. I just doesn't. The probability is that's the thing, is that we don't really know this situation, but the probability is that he is unstable. The probability is, but we don't really know. So I guess we can't say, can we? Donald Trump congratulating Jesse Waters for some sort of award that he got. Oh man, by the way, did you guys see Donald Trump's shitpost last night? I use that, it's a technical term, okay? He took a picture that was being posted on the Donald where it was a picture of Trump Tower in Greenland, and he posted a picture of that and he said, I promise not to do this to Greenland. The president tweeted that. Can't believe when I saw that, I thought that they were joking. But he really posted it. Probably the funniest thing he's posted. There's a different perspective from rural farming towns in middle America. We need migrant labor, and so do our hospitals and all of the typical first-generation jobs are. Well, I don't know. I given the way that those areas tend to vote, I would say that they probably disagree, right? So the thing that I remember when I was in the boonies was that there was a lot of people that wanted that were doing work on farms and stuff like that. And it was like, you had to get past to doing something like that because it wasn't a living, will be seriously affected by this administration's migration policy. Well, I think the end effect, I mean, here's the thing, is I don't think that people always Um, there is an intended result from this that people don't really seem to get for some reason. So I always hear whenever we talk about tariffs, and I go on Reddit, and the people on the liberals on Reddit are like, well, this is just going to make everything more expensive. And I'm like, yeah, that's the effing point. That is the whole point of why Donald Trump knows that that's going to make all of those things more expensive, and that's why he's doing it. Come on. The whole complaint is that China is and migrant labor is undercutting things and making stuff cheaper than it's supposed to be. That's like the whole argument. Well, there was a good bit at 27, but when they ticked down it, some of it pulled. Now it's throttling. You see that? They're kind of pulling a little bit and then they stack it again and now it ticks up. So he may yet lose control of it, but at the moment it looks like he's not done. Anyways, so when you look at the migrant labor thing, like it's very difficult for a like an independent farmer to make money right now, and they think that if the if they weren't being undercut by the migrant labor and everything like that on the prices, that the prices could rise and then the regular farmers could make money again, right? That's what they believe. It's hard to say if that's what would actually happen because it's a very complicated system, right? If we make our own goods and don't sell our own goods and we build walls to keep other people outside and we regulate the media, isn't that communism? No. So one is I don't think that we're regulating the media yet. I mean, a lot of the things that Donald Trump says may seem like they're regulating the media, but until I actually see a law that would be unconstitutional, I'm not going to say that that's happening, right? And nobody's actually put up an actual law yet on any of these sorts of things. So how can I say that that's what it would be? Now they were setting up a rule for social media companies, but I don't think that it would be quite that. I think it would be more that they can be held responsible for censoring of people on their platform, and who knows how that actually is going to turn out. We have to see the details of it. Okay. And then communists build walls to keep people in, not to keep people out. No. Let me tell you what, like communist Russia, or even better yet, East Germany. Okay. You know what? If you wanted to enter East Germany, you could do it. I believe you could. Like, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to become a communist, they would be, oh yes, great comrade, come over. It would be great. No, it's people leaving that they don't want. They build the walls to keep people in, not out. It's the opposite thing. Most farms are now big farms, and most of the subsidies go to the big farms. Yeah, totally true. Totally true. Bankruptcy is climbing with the small farmers. That's totally true too. And it's been going on like that for a long, long time, long before Donald Trump came around, right? Totally. But how do you fix it? Or why is it a problem? If we ignore the tariffs, why is it happening in the first place? And I'll tell you what the farmers think. The farmers that are going through those bankruptcies and all those sorts of things, what do they think? They think it's because the price is too low. I also know that a wall has not worked throughout history. So in terms of protecting yourselves from an outside invading force, I think that we can come up with quite a few examples of walls that worked. Like the Great Wall of China would probably be the prime example, right? But that's the thing. There are different things. There's a difference between trying to keep people out and trying to keep people in. I mean, the thing is, really, by the way, should I be taking this here quite? I don't know. It's starting to get a little busy right here in this area, but it's not giving me any sort of clear spot. So let's just see. We'll move this at least. I mean, so when I think about it historically, this idea that anybody should be able to come into the country that wants to, so like the idea of open borders, I can only think that I think the only time in history that that has really been practiced has been, you know, the United States in the 1800s. Every other country, you know, they have borders specifically to keep people out. Like that's why borders exist in the first place. Is because they're like, we have our country and we want, you know, our country and our people and we make our decisions and everybody else has to stay out and leave us alone. That's why it exists. So like the whole idea of open borders is like a new thing. I really wish it could have taken that, maybe. Because 3 ticks back is too much. I didn't really see, I was watching it, but I didn't really see, I know it was yapping, but I didn't really see a very clear get out. It just kind of ticked down. Now, sometimes it just kind of ticking down can give you a good reason to go. I think we all agree that we need an immigration policy and we need security. Wow. Oh, that's the funny thing, Win, is I think that most us normal people, I think, yeah, we would agree. But when I go out on the internet and I read, apparently not everybody believes that. You would be surprised how many people out there on the internet don't believe that. They think that borders are an artificial concept created by people, and that there should be no reason that I should be able to go over here or go over here and go anywhere that I want. Give a man a gun, he will rob a bank, and give a man a bank, and he will rob everyone. Probably. I mean, I guess that kind of gets, okay, so there they took 27. So this is unwinding on me very, very quickly. And it's not giving me a very clear, it's not really telling me anything right now. The mini is recovering, I suppose. I'm hearing a lot of clicks. There's a couple of bids. Sorry, there was a couple of, yeah, there was a couple of bids that pulled. Where were the bids pulling at? 25, 24 half. Oh, interesting. Okay, so there was a pretty quick tick up, but not a strong bid with it. What did the football coach say when he went to the bank? I want my quarterback. Trying Tried to encourage business through billboard advertising, but conveyed quite a different message when the following was displayed. Loans make life easier at first. Oh, man. Donald Trump tweeting about the fake and corrupt media. I guess another point that I should stick in there that I kind of missed was like the fact that Donald Trump has been whining about the fake and corrupt news media since the very, very beginning, and that he hasn't actually done anything about it, says to me that it's just good fodder for him, and that he's not actually going to do anything. So he would have done it by now, as much as he talks about it. So we did get a tick up there, right? Yeah, I touched 27. Do you watch Larry Kudlow on the Sunday shows? Is he still on? I thought he stopped. He stopped doing stuff when he went into the administration, right? Or are you saying that he was on the morning shows this past week or something like that? Man, this sucks. Here it's giving me something in the 5-year. I think I just kind of have to sit here and what happens, happens. I didn't see him on that he was interviewed on Sunday. He must not have said anything terribly news headline generating, right? He is such a character and would have fabulous stories. Well, Larry does seem like a good guy. I have to say, as much criticism as there has been over Donald Trump's economic team, and they've certainly made some mistakes, but they certainly did a lot of really good things too. And there's a lot of things about this economy that are happening because of them. Because of the little, couple of little rule changes here and there and things like that. They'll go a long way. And they're smart guys. Larry's not right about everything. I have to, man, when he was still on CNBC, his show was usually too late for me to watch, but I remember sometimes, it's the E-mini opening. Okay. It was kind of lost track of the time. Okay. Anyways, I remember every once in a while, sometimes he would say things that I was like, wow, that just sounds crazy. But I don't remember what any of them were to see if he ended up being right or what the deal was. Okay, so now there's 3,000 on both sides of this. Kind of kicking myself because we had the move up. It came back because people were getting out before the E-mini went live. Now there's a ton of orders right here, which makes it difficult for us to know which way it's going to go. E-mini has been pretty bearish. I expect that this first move is going to be down. Let's see. But I would have liked to have been out with them and kind of let it just turn around and do its thing without having to worry about it, So, but because I didn't realize what time it was, I just didn't occur to me. But that would have been a good reason for me to have changed what I did. I've kind of been sitting here this whole time being like, well, what am I missing? Like, why is it coming back so hard? That's what I missed, was the time. Okay. Well, they are ticking up pretty good now. On the open, they took a pretty good dive there. Hurston Howell. Who names their kids that? I never watched Gilligan's Island. That's why I don't think I've ever even seen that on television, like as something to watch. Like going through TV Guide, I don't think I've ever seen Gilligan's Island as one of the. How come I'm not getting very much? Twitter is really quiet this morning for some reason. Like the last thing that I see was Donald Trump tweeting about the fake and corrupt media, which was 6 minutes ago. Okay, there's another step down in the E-mini. So they're starting to look panicked. Man, E-mini does not look happy. Does not look happy. And just as every little step that it goes, you can see the buyers come in as it starts ticking down. You can see the buyers in Treasuries come in. He says, to this day, bananas are my favorite fruit. Thanks to Marianne's coconut cream pie. Wait, was that a euphemism? Oh. I'm not a big fruit person. I like apples and bananas, and that's like it. I like vegetables though. Vegetables are great. Not holding a good bid at 27.5 for some reason. That was kind of where it was before balanced, So I would have thought that they would have a little bit easier time trading around that price. It's not a huge deal, but see, people should be more willing to buy 27.5. There she goes again. Bids up quite strongly that time. Okay. Well, that's what I should have taken the first time. Let's just sit back a little bit because that just was a little bit too. That was a little stressful. Did not like the way that trade went. See that spike right there? that caused me to get out. I would have liked to have seen that up here or here. Then I would have gotten out, and I wouldn't have had to sit through that pullback. Now, there's a really good chance that this still goes up higher, but because I'm getting one of those, it was appropriate to get out. And really, when it came back that much, I probably should have tried to have taken the +4 anyways. And maybe I could have gotten back in at 25. Ooh, wow, I really could have gotten in at 25.5. Well, I think I would have. I don't know if I would have, rather. I hope I would have. That would have been a really good trade too. But I'm +4. I mean, I'd be happy with that if that's all we got. Let's see what the ES does. They're still not below. Oh no, they are below the overnight low, but not. Okay, yesterday's low is 28.99.50. Right here. Did I clear both of these? I guess when it's on the open and everything like that, you gotta. Okay, yeah. Cool. My scare true. Donald Trump is tweeting about Google again and voter fraud. What's up with that? Oh man, so that's an interesting thing to me. So there's this guy. They might get another continuation here. Let's see what happens. Should I have waited for the +8? There's this guy named Dr. Epstein. And in 2016, he did a study. And his study basically said that the way that Google does their search results and everything gave it an edge to Democrats. And he estimates that it was between 2.6 and 15 million votes that were potentially changed from the way that Google does the algorithm. Okay, reasonable, a reasonable claim considering when we talk about the whole Russia thing and we say, how many votes did Russia, affect? Don't really know. I personally don't think that it really affected the outcome of the election really so much as the Hillary Clinton, as the email gate thing. But, obviously those sorts of things, it does have an aggregate effect on people. Now, I mean, people still make their choices. So I say, people choose what they choose. But Ace says buy signal 29.13. I really want to take that trade with you, Ace, but man, why do I want to take that? I think that I still have an underlying bias that some of this selling has been overdone. No, I'm not going to take it after it's come down like that. It didn't even go into it for us, did it? Anyways, so in 2016, Dr. Epstein, he did this study, right? Well, here's the problem. He wrote a paper about it, and he made all of these claims in there, but he didn't really show his work. So you can't go back and duplicate the results of his study. It's kind of one of those, the exact way that we do it is the secret sort of a thing, right? So it's an unverified claim. But he's been saying this since 2016. Google says he's wrong. They say, we don't manipulate the search results. He goes in front of Congress and he testifies about it, and he gives those numbers and where he estimates there was 2.6 million votes that were probably changed from it. All right. So, it started out with that, and it was kind of the people on the right were posting that you see, this is the effect that Google has. But then you had to remember that it's unverified because there was no proof that Google manipulated the search results. And then last week, Project Veritas came forward with a leaker from Google who had found internal documents, and we're pretty confident that they are true internal documents. Like, everybody has said that they appear to be real internal documents. And what those internal documents say is that Google manipulates their search results. and not even just manipulate their search results, but in a partisan manner. They had a blacklist, for instance, and some of the terms and websites that were on these blacklists were websites that I did not believe had any business being on there. I think that it's totally political that they're on those lists, and inappropriate, in my opinion. It's just not. I don't think that you should be trying to say. I don't think that it is Google's place to say what is accurate or not. You can go and create a disinformation, like Snopes. But the Google search results, that's like everybody's gateway to the internet. That should be unbiased. It should show everything as long as it's not illegal. Like bombs or drugs or things like that. Right. Anyways, so that's why Donald Trump is tweeting about it now, is because Google, this whole thing that Google has been telling us for the past, 4 years now. No, 3 years, sorry. Past 3 years now has basically been proven to be a lie. And he's trying to hold their feet to the fire for it. Now, it's funny because the media is saying, is kind of trying to fight him on it. They say it's unverified. Well, Dr. Epstein's number is unverified. But that Google has manipulated search results in a way that may be, manipulative. Confirmed fact at this point. And we can split hairs about how bad it actually was and everything, and whether it's appropriate or not, but they lied straight up. President Donald Trump has been delivering on his promises to the American people since day one, from the historical tax cuts to rolling back red tape to unleashing on American energy. Our administration is working hard for Americans across the country. And Donald Trump retweets it and says, "Thank you, Mike." Which came first, the chicken or the egg, and why do they keep crossing that damn road? Well, so they come up, they touched 29. They didn't go immediately through it. I'm a little bit, it's not a big deal, but a little bit surprised. So I got out from 27.5, right? Yep. I'm backing away from it again. I was just curious. There were eggs long before there were chickens. I think you're right. Because dinosaurs had eggs. Chickens evolved from dinosaurs, right? So evolutionarily speaking, probably the egg came before the chicken. But what came, did chickens or chicken eggs come first? That's kind of a Julia Ferret is 8 years old. Recently, she looks like a very old lady ferret. I'm letting her have a tiny lick of white sugar donut. Because everyone should have a piece of the sweet life. I'm like on a no sugar binge, but I don't know if I'm doing a good job at it. So I have gastrointestinal problems, and I read a study that C. diff is more likely to develop immunity to various antibiotics if you're eating a lot of sugar. And I have gotten C. diff multiple times. Like, I think I've gotten it like 4 or 5 times, actually. And it may be that the problems that I have is because I still have a C. diff infection that they can't detect or get rid of. Maybe. Or there's some sort of other bacterial imbalance. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe there's too much sugar in my diet. So I'm eating the salads and everything and still trying to get all of the calories, which is super hard. But then I'm going to eat like chicken and rice. That's like my main food. And then you're going to put something on it, and that's sugar. And like, is that too much sugar? I think it is. So I'm not quite sure. You have C. diff. Yeah, that's what it's called, C. diff. Or I have had. I don't have it right now. At least I don't think I do. That's short for Clostridium difficile. It's a really, really nasty bug that you can catch. Like, if you catch C. diff and they don't do anything about it, it will kill you. Oh, Ace says, we dealt with that. It is such a tough bacteria to deal with. Yeah. And the thing that's really tough about it is that it's hard to get rid of, right? Like, that's why it's such a problem in hospitals, because, like, it creates spores in your waste that, like, sticks around. And you could have it, carry it, and not have any symptoms. Holy shit. Okay. It's curious that with that crazy move right there, that they only made 19.5. What? I don't think I'm prone to try and short that now, but because I don't know what caused that, I don't think I'm going to touch it. Democratic candidates embrace recession concerns as a strategy against Trump. Maria, despite all of their will and energy, it won't work. Something happened now. I don't know if that was it. Brexit. UK says its officials will only now go to EU meetings that really matter, reducing attendance by over half. So was that because of the Brexit headlines? Well, let's put that in our headlines. Italian Prime Minister Conte says the crisis probably means the end of this government. C. diff or spores, yep. Just you're spelling it right. Just do a Google search for it. It's an infection that infects your colon, and it spreads via spores. So the spores get into your poo, basically, and then they spread through the air. So it's most common in hospitals where you get people with weakened immune systems, and then it can just spread all over the hospital, and it's hard to get rid of it because you basically have to bleach like every surface to get rid of the spores, right? So they taken back up. They're saying that they could keep going. There's the 30. Birds are really loud. Anyways, and it's a very, very bad infection. So, like, if you get it, it'll basically spread until your colon bursts, essentially, and kills you if you get an infection. But the thing is that it's the normal bacteria of your stomach will keep it in check, generally speaking. So only people that are like sick tend to get it. That's why it's only a thing in hospitals, right? But what can happen is Maybe you took an antibiotic, for instance. Maybe you took an antibiotic that killed all of your gut flora, and so now there's nothing to keep the C. diff in check, and it goes out of line. Or, in the case of me, it could be that even though the C. diff is under control from the other bacteria, your body has still developed an immune response to it. And so even though there's not enough for it to worry about, your body is still freaking out about it. But we don't really know what causes ulcerative colitis other than that your body just attacks your colon. And they think, or at least one of the popular theories is that there's a bacteria that we just can't detect. So it's really hard to create the conditions inside of your gut to be able to find the bacteria, because, to be able to know that there's a bacteria, you basically have to take a culture and all that sort of a thing, right? So how can you find what's really in there causing a problem? More research is needed. Joe Rogan maybe has new research on this. Wow. I would be surprised if they pointed out something that I hadn't heard about. But the thing that is kind of the new thing now, we're talking about gross stuff. I apologize for anybody that doesn't want to hear this. We'll end it here quickly. But what one of the things that they're doing is they're saying, well, if it's a bacterial balance, then what we'll do is we'll take the bacteria from a healthy person and put it in a sick person. So they have stool transplants, which is gross and ridiculous, but it's a thing, and apparently it's pretty effective. Like if you have a C. diff infection in particular, that is one way to get rid of it. If you keep getting it over and over again. I don't know what my deal is right now, because I took a why were we even talking about C. diff? But yeah, another day of shit talk. Technical term, folks. But yeah, I took a test and they said that I didn't have anything. So I might just have an ulcer in my colon for no good reason and whatever. But I haven't been feeling super great lately. But I got through my workout yesterday. I felt tired and it sucked, but I got through my workout and I was okay. So this is weird. I mean, they had trouble getting through 30 there. It is pulling up to 30.5 though. Do we have some news here in 5 minutes? I should double check that. No. It's ticking a lot. It's a shame that we couldn't have held any of those for further. You know what? It actually could have let you buy it 27.5. I was thinking about it, but that moved up way too quickly. So there's no way that I would have actually have caught that. And here, it is kind of giving you a get out at 29.5, 30 area. That, but given that the crazy just happened, cannot say. Buyers attempting to test 165.19 for continuation or not. Not that far away now. I mean, it still looks pretty. Well, it's another step, right? It's another step. It's still not close enough for me to really be, at least on my time frame, for me to really be overly concerned about. Geraldo Rivera said, watching CNN and MSNBC Waxing hopeful the U.S. economy will soon collapse. Hatred of world Donald Trump led Democrats and their allies in a permanent government to waste 2 years of Americans' time with collusion delusion, and now the same folks are rooting for USA's economic collapse. I'm surprised that Geraldo said that. Italian Prime Minister Conte to meet President after debate to resign. So these ones are, well, it was a short. There you go. I don't think that he gave me a clear signal to take a trade, but the only reason I point that one out is not to aggrandize myself, because if I really thought that it was a trade that I can take, I would have taken it, right? But only that anytime that you see the crazy, there's a really good chance of a reversal. You can see it happen right there. Look at this, is coming almost all the way back now. Okay, there's an iceberg at 26. Why is it doing this? I'm thinking about buying 26. But see, it's a little too... I actually really like this one, but I think it's a little bit too wild right now. Ace says that he got out. Oh, I missed you. You know, why do I keep missing? So did you go short there? That would have been nice. At least you could have gotten 2 out of it. German Chancellor Merkel on backstop says, "We will think about practical solutions. Britain must decide which way it goes. We have made our offer to work closely." Alligator says, "Seems a combo of second-tier factors." Yeah. So a little bit of maybe a false breakout there at 26.5. It's still telling me to buy it. It's 8 o'clock. They're kind of telling me, no, you need to take 27, Seth. Nobody's hitting 26.5. E-mini does appear to be recovering a little bit here. Okay. Well, and they're still buying into 27, so that's good. It'd be better if they had put a bid there and just held it, but let's take what we can get, huh? Okay. 1,000, please. Hmm. Multiple clicks there at 27 kind of says to me that somebody lost. Somebody short just lost there. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Ooh. ES. Yes, baby, what's wrong? Why are you so sad? I'm not too encouraged by this bid at 27.5. I think 27.5 is a level we should keep an eye on too. Oh, I don't like that. I don't know. Nope. Hmm. Well, I was able to catch it in an okay spot, but it's still super whippy, isn't it? Could just dump it there. Although the 5-year does look like, they push down and now they look pointed up again. Kind of need E-mini to move down. We need her to move down quick. Everybody tell the E-mini that she's fat. You're fat, E-mini. You're worthless and ugly, and nobody wants you anymore. I don't think it's working, guys. E-mini for Wakanda? What? Hmm. I don't know what to say. That long looked really, really positive, and then it just kind of fell apart quickly, didn't it? All right. It's a reference to the movie Fred Green. I never watched that one. Face it, girls, I'm older and have more insurance. What? Oh, man. That's not what you want to see. Down tick. It just sits there. See, it's pulling and they're not getting any buyers. Come on. Give me a break here. Well, I think we're going to come out of the day up, but I'm a little disappointed. It's kind of difficult trading, I think. Like this right here, that was totally a long signal. 100%. Good long signal was only worth 5. How many did I actually get out of it? I could have gotten 2 out of it. You know? And this other one, of course, this one. No, it was this one. Could have gotten. I could have gotten this one. Well, that wouldn't have been the same kind of a signal, but I could have gotten this one. So I feel like I should have been coming out of the day like +8, and I'm +2, which sucks. Yeah, when I think that that thing that you just pointed out there, when I feel like that the market cares about what he's going to say way too much. It's like, what is it that these guys don't understand about data dependent? You want to know what Jerome Powell is going to think about the economy and what needs to be done? Look at the data. If the data says that they need to raise, then they'll, or lower, then they'll lower. Sterling spikes as German Chancellor Merkel on backstop says we will think about practical solutions, but pulls back nearly immediately as Merkel clarifies on backstop issue. It's a question of political declaration, not withdrawal agreement. There's no need to reopen the deal. So that's definitely maybe why they're moving. Is she must be doing a press conference right now. Let's get rid of this headline with the Brexit. I don't think it matters, personally. Over here, I want to change something in my preferences. See a Chinese water dragon on your shirt, still above water, but his tail is beginning to dip, or is that Nessie? That's they're telling me to go long again, actually. Oh. So now if I do it. Yeah. Good. Better. Okay. Okay. Well, even he has made a pretty good recovery. I mean, they're to where they were, at least. Wage and salary. Yeah, not quite sure what that means. Uptick. Weak bid. Should reset this, by the way. Okay. They do seem to be all ticking together again. Okay. I'm getting a lot of clicks now all of a sudden again. Oh, they hit into 26. Having a little bit of difficulty holding it. Come on. You can do it. There you go. They all ticked up, but the 10-year doesn't seem to want to hold it for some reason. The big orders are moving, but only the ones that are like really far away. So the time it pulled and a couple of them hit it and then they turned around again. Ooh, some stops at 26.5, but he pushed it down. Really? 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 3,000 now. Trying to focus here. Sorry if I'm not catching all the chat comments. I really want to watch how the way this ticks, because it seems to be putting up quite a stink here. See, like he doesn't want to put a good bid at 26. I guess he wants them to hit it, but there was an iceberg there too. So okay, so there's an ask moved. ES is maybe turning. I am getting this. I am getting an indication that it might be turning. I think I could actually sell it here. Right here. Ah. Yeah. It's already too late. It's already went down. It would have been at 29.12, so it was 75. They're still not holding a strong bid at 26. Okay, now somebody finally stacked some on there. They get it over 1,000. Well, they sell all 1,000. Wow. Well, okay. Yeah, that's not positive. E-mini is moving up again a little bit. And they're above where I was thinking, like, oh, maybe you could short that. Fetch. I am in the wrong direction. I'm getting a false signal. That makes it official news and not fake news. Thank you. Okay. Wow, that really sucks. 25.5 was where I took it, but I got out at 24.5. They seem to be getting excited again. The 6J is kind of moving all over the place. British pound is all over the place. I think that part of the reason why my signal is having trouble here is because a lot of this flow is because of the currencies. That seems to be a weakness that we have to compensate for, is we don't know what the currencies are going to do. I really could have gotten out of that with break even. I'm quite upset about it. Lots of a lot of things that we could have changed about today, huh? Oops. There we go. Greg says, Seth, question mark, what's up? Greg? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Or was there maybe a comment there that I missed? Would you learn that he was the funniest? Well, I don't know about funny. Do you want me to show you the? I would love to know the answer always, for sure. I want to say, I mean, the thing here is that's frustrating me is that, um, okay, so I took a buy here, I think it was, right? No, it was here. And that was a really good trade, but then I let it come back on me almost completely. And then I came back out and it gave me an exit, so I got out there. So that one was, that was a legit long that I missed because I didn't get out here. So there's one that I missed. And then here's one that it's a different signal, but because there was the crazy and there's a really good chance that that's going to unwind, and I could have taken that one, but I didn't have the balls to do it. So there's that one, right? Oh, I can see that the ZB was kind of say it was going to go lower. Well, anyways, I guess the whole thing here is that after this, it's kind of been choppy and it hasn't really been giving good signals since then. So it's kind of unfortunate. It's like, okay, it's not always going to work great, especially if the currency is moving it. I missed 2 trades and that really sucks. And that's the thing that I'm disappointed about the most. Because if I had gotten those 2, then these other ones that didn't work here and here, it was here and here. It was only 2 ticks positive. Wouldn't have mattered. Rick says, great, the answer to the ZB. The knob sure is moving up. So I guess you're saying that the 30-year was the leader there, and that there are things going on in the 30-year that I missed that I should have taken into account. How much can you make a trade on average? Make a day on average. So I would say that if you make 4 ticks a day, which is $62, that you're doing pretty good. When things get moving, you can, or if you're really good, really good, you can make 8 ticks a day, which is $100 per contract. And then it really depends on how much money you have to put into it, right? But I would not expect to be making that much starting out. It's the thing with trading futures is it's extremely, extremely difficult. It takes a lot of practice. You're probably going to suck at it really badly at the very beginning. And so to really go through, all of that effort to make 4 ticks a day, kind of your reward from putting in all of the effort is maybe not worth it for most people. You know what I mean? If you're looking for a get rich quick scheme, this is not it. Doors? The answer to life in the ZV is to give a lady a door. Doors are cool and symbolic and make you want to sing, come on, baby, light my fire. This is not flirting, just a fact, like the fact that Jim Morrison was a Doors and he is cool and full of symbology. Okay. I don't think I completely understood that, but I'll keep it under advisement. It's still, it's still kind of giving me hints that they're going to buy it up again. I think that they may just do so, and I'm just going to miss the train. But to me, it doesn't make sense that, because all of this stuff happened before the news, right? This right here was the news. Okay, so there was the stop run, reversal. Okay, they've been washed out. Now, wouldn't the trend resume? I don't know. But maybe this whole move, even though it seemed like it was a really strong move, maybe there wasn't as strong of a reason for them to be doing it. And so I'm reading too much into that. Okay. Futures are a trading disaster, but if you are willing to dismiss much of what you studied, then I can make you a video. Well, sure. I mean, if you want to show me something, a different strategy, if it was what you're saying, I'm always open to that sort of a thing. But, we would still have to look at it and see if it makes sense for me to try that particular strategy. Although I'm assuming you know me pretty well that you wouldn't be telling me that unless it was something that I could really take advantage of. But one thing's for sure, futures are difficult to trade. No doubt about that. You can only do it if you like it. I sure do like watching the DOM. It's funny that one that I got out of, I was probably didn't need to. I was probably a little bit too worried about it. One thing that we have in common, reading the tape, the DOM, but I make a living in the ZB and the yes, I'm negative. Gotcha. Well, so I mean, I've been thinking about going back to the ZB. But the reason that I didn't at this particular time was because I had been trying this in the ZN, and we know that it worked really, really well when everything was going crazy. Now we want to see how well it does when things aren't crazy. This kind of time right now is a really good test for it. You can kind of see, well, there was some opportunities. We kind of messed up a little bit, didn't we? So I'd say we're doing okay. But it would be a lot better to go over to the ZB and be able to, get rid of the commissions. Have a better tick to commission ratio. And because of the way that I'm taking it and things like that, it's possible, probably much more possible for me to do. But I'd have to try it. And I think that I should finish this out on the ZN first. And then if we have some time, then maybe we can do it on the ZB. What is your goal? Is it to make money as a side thing or to have a channel for learning and discussion? Do you have a day? Well, so I do have a day job, right? So that's why we quit streaming at about between 8:30 and 9 o'clock my time. Because I am a computer programmer, work for a Medicare website. I have a day job. So I don't rely on this channel for my living or anything like that. I think that it would be really great if I made enough from the YouTube channel that I could just do that. And I could just be like the CNBC of YouTube or something like that. That would be super cool. But it seems to me that the way that YouTube, seems to me that the way that YouTube is set up in the current environment makes that difficult, if not impossible to do. So, totally happy with just having a good little channel, community, for people to talk about trading with. And that's the main thing with the channel. I think that's the main goal. And when we're putting, effort into the channel to grow it, that's what the growth is for, is to get a better community. But that also means it doesn't have to be a huge community, right? But too big of a community, and you guys would be saying like so much stuff in chat and I'd never be able to follow it all. Anyways, but on the trading side, I like trading. So, of course, I try and do as well as I possibly can. But if I was just able to trade and be, more than break even, so that I can just keep my account, and keep trading live, that's the only thing that's like the near-term goal right now. That's the near-term goal, and I think that we can do that and better than that. I mean, we have kind of been break even for the most part. Since the beginning, we've been kind of break even for the most part, but just don't have enough in the account to handle the drawdowns. This strategy seems different. Might not have the same problems. Well, I shouldn't say this strategy, because it's the same strategy. It's just, it's a little stronger of a signal. A little change in the signal about how I take it. They might move lower here. This one right here, that was a good buy signal. Just didn't go for much. When it came back down to break even, like I really shouldn't have let those ones go ticks against me. I should have known as soon as they came back to break even that there was something wrong. What if mortgage rates go upside down? Oh, I don't think that we're going to get negative interest rates in the United States. If we had negative interest rates in the United States, I think that it would cause a lot of chaos in the global economy, because when everybody's yielding negative, I don't think that's supposed to happen. It's a complex system, so it's hard to say what would actually happen. Do you follow the 10 and 3 rules? I don't know what that is. That have to do with how much time you spend on something? Like 10-minute work and then 3-minute break or something like that? I don't know. The thing is maybe if I was a little bit better focused today, I might have made some better decisions. But when you look at the chart and the signals and everything, it's not, you know. There's a lot of you could have done it, but it wasn't a sure trade for me, you know? And I think that that's just kind of what this day has ended up being. It's just kind of been like that. So this is going to be hard to pull stuff out. To come out break even, well, minus commissions. That's okay. That's acceptable. Let's make sure we post our charts. Really, if anything, it kind of just shows you where I'm at and why, how the success can kind of ruin you sometimes, because you come in and you're like, oh, I should have been up 16 ticks today. And you've been doing days like that, and so you almost think that it's owed to you. But today it just didn't turn out that way, and that's just how the pieces fell this time. Tuesday, publish. Okay. That's how a gambler loses his bankroll trying to make up for what they lost the night before and changing their strategy. Yeah. Well, another thing that's interesting about today was that it did afford us some opportunities that were beyond just the tape getting ahead of itself. You know, like this one was a continuation you could have taken on a signal, but it's a tough call. But that one would have yielded a lot. That was a strong move up, really. This one right here, this short, that was not really one. But really what you should be saying is, we just had a crazy stop run and there was nothing there. See that? Reversal. Means more likely to reverse. Why is it not giving me the right one? There we go. Means it's more likely to reverse. And then, here's where I started taking the long. So you see, here's the long. Here's the long. The long. And it's not going. So probably it's getting ahead of itself, but it's getting ahead of itself because everybody's taking profits, not because people are getting into positions. And if people are taking profits and not getting into positions, then that means that this is not a real signal because it's really just calming out. That probably didn't make any sense, but it makes sense to me. How do you record and remember the history or patterns of your information? So I have, well, when we first created it to get the statistics that we use as a basis, we kept track of it in a spreadsheet. And now that we have this thing, I can go in, I can look in my jigsaw stats. And if there was something really peculiar about that trade, then I can go in and I can enter in notes on it, on the trade itself. But you've seen those, that chart and everything before, right? This thing right here, right? So here was doing pretty good. Really, really bad day. Can you imagine if we hadn't have had that day? All of this stuff would be here. Anyways, I think we worked that one out. I really hope that never happens again. But I would think we know why. Anyways, and then flattening out, it's okay. Would like today to have been a little bit up, but whatever. Irrational SPs like spreadsheets. They don't work for me very well. I need multiple sources of information and a clipboard and a pencil to doodle. Well, so the thing that I mean, there's the real problem that you run into when you start to really take your notes and stuff is you're gonna find that there's like a trillion ways that you could keep track of it, and there's a trillion pieces of information that you might like to know, and that it's impossible for you to really keep track of all of them and see the thing in all of them. And so what I would say is that the thing that you really need to know is when you see something, what does it do afterwards? So like you see this, you see this thing that you want to see. Like for us, there's a lot of level 2 activity. So when we see a lot of level 2 activity, then we keep track of what it's doing. And what we found was that on average, it will go 2 ticks through you, and then it will reverse. But see, you have to be able to track how many ticks both ways it goes before it resolves itself. Because what can happen is, you might see the signal, you might see that it turns and it moves down. Let me try and draw a picture of it like this. Stream is getting choppy. Sorry, I'm getting frames dropped. We'll double check that here in a second. So what you'll get is, say we had a move like this. Okay. And you're looking at the chart and you say, okay, that's what I want. That's the trade. I want to see something that happens here that tells me to take it short. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through all these indicators and level 2 things, and you're going to look at that exact spot and you're going to say, okay, what was happening there? And what you're going to find is you're going to find something and that seems like every time that it's up there, it does this thing. But then you're going to find that when it does that thing, it only actually reverses 10% of the time or something like that, right? Makes sense so far? Like here's all of the times that the thing happens, and here's the percentage of times that the thing does what you want it to do. And then here's the percentage of the time where that is actually like a profitable trade. Something like that. Okay. As a mountain is syphilis. But what is common is actually something like this. Your signal is actually right there. Which is why the signal is not the signal. The signal just says, okay, they're starting to overextend. You let them finish it out, and then you take it. Make sense? So that's why you have to be able to sit down and say, okay, here's the thing that I'm looking for. So here's the signal. It went 2 ticks against me. And then when it actually went, it got 6. And then then you have the stats to actually build a strategy off of it. So a spreadsheet is probably the easiest way to get that sort of information. You could totally do it on where's the wrong? You could totally do it on a piece of paper, but it's just going to be harder for you to compile all of the information at the end, right? Because the whole point here is eventually you won't going to build statistics off of it. It does kind of look like that they're going to eventually move higher, but not a train I can catch. Break even. Really, when we look at it, this one should have been +7. Okay. Well, let's say that we got 6 out of this. Let's say we got 6 out of this. We should have closed it. We should have taken another one and gotten the 5 out of it again. And then after that, we should have taken another one that would have yielded 8. So really, we could have been more than 16 ticks up. And we could have taken the long here too, but whatever. I still hold to what I was saying at the time. I saw it the way that I saw it. If you're lucky, you could have gotten that one, but I would not have in any event. And then these ones, this one at the very least, I think should have been 0. So I think we can go in and say that if we changed a couple of mistakes and stuff, it would be profitable. So this is kind of at the point of going through that is to say, okay, were we unprofitable today because of the strategy or because of me? I'm going to say it's mostly me. There was a little bit about the strategy in the context of this move that did make this difficult to read. But I still could have done it. Just wasn't on it. He says, yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. So if I come in here and I look at what I'm putting in, okay. Oh, that one's 10 and 20. 10 and 10. I thought I changed it to, okay. Let's try it like 20 on this one. Just the default settings. Yeah. 10 and 20. Oh, 3. That was this one, right? Yeah. We should also see this UB one. I mean, what do we have this one set to? 120. I so rarely look at that. I think I'm just going to close that one. And these ones, I don't think they even, no, they don't. 25. So what happens is I get dropped frames, so it can tell me here throughout the whole stream, I dropped 486 frames. And it seems to me that what happens is the CPU usage will like spike. Can I get the thing to show up? It won't show me, will it? Maybe I should look tonight to see if I can put some. Well, I can do it. I think I know how to do it, but I can put like my CPU usage up here somewhere so that we can watch it, so that if we get like a spike, we can see if I get over like 100% utilization and what we got to do to handle that. Probably, maybe what I could do is just get a capture card and I don't know. I could get a capture card and that might fix it. I could do a stream machine. If I could find a cheap enough machine that has the right kind of card for it. I should look here. Well, there's the bit rate and everything, but the encoder. I don't know. Could also be. I also thought that maybe the scaling would make a difference, but that doesn't seem to be. Anyways, yes, I'm referring to his screen. Yes, we thought that maybe you were talking about something else. No, we know what you were talking about. And just check and see if there's anything else here. PIMCO starts dumping bonds, fears helicopter money around the corner. Really? Why would you want to sell bonds if helicopter money is around the corner? After the best year-to-date performance since 2003, the fund is paring its positions in government debt on fears that a breakthrough in U.S.-China trade talks could trigger a violent sell-off. However, while PIMCO was tightening up their positions in UK and European bonds, it is reducing its exposure to U.S. bond markets less. because we might get, okay. Well, that certainly seems to line up with what I'm seeing in the tape. It seems, no, what they're talking about is, have you ever heard of Helicopter Ben? Right? So after the financial crisis, Ben Bernanke, the chairman of the Fed at the time, came in and basically gave the markets money to trade with to prop the markets up. And so we called him Helicopter Ben. So ever since then, the idea of central banks being extremely easy and or implementing monetary easing is we refer to as helicopter money. So they're saying that they think that the Federal Reserve will reduce rates further or maybe even do some quantitative easing. And that's why they're reducing their exposure to U.S. Treasuries less than they are the European Treasuries. But I have to say, if they end up, if there is a breakthrough in U.S.-China trade talks, this market is gonna, this is a thing that's so crazy about. Democrats absolutely want the economy to do bad because they think that it gives them a greater chance of the election. If you come in and you're all doom and gloom and, oh, see, we were right, the economy is falling apart, and then all of a sudden he somehow pulls a trade deal out of his butt, this market is going higher and they're going to look like complete fools. That's the risk they're taking on that one. Helicopter parents were a thing when I was raising our children. It's still a thing, man. I think it's even more so a thing. Well, see, they're still telling you, they're still giving you opportunities to get in at 25 half. But the fact that they've moved up to 26 half so many times kind of says to me that the real opportunity is gone, because when it does that chop sort of a thing, that's not really good action for us. Unless you want to take it one tick a bunch of times, but I don't think so. So, guess it's time to shut it down and say 55. All right, well, anyways, just to review in full transparency, break even today, couple of mistakes made. Think it could have done better, but didn't. So we'll see. But maybe the rest of the week might afford some better opportunities. Wednesdays are usually good days, so we'll see. Having the E-mini sell today and not just be like a complete disaster, like not break through yesterday's low or reach this this naked point of control at 28.90, for instance. If we're able to hold this, then on Wednesday, when some of the flows really come in, could be a really positive thing. So let's see. We might have yet some interesting things to see. Anyways, I will catch you guys tomorrow then, and in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.